Hello and welcome everybody to another Secrets of Strixhaven draft video. I'm Paul Cheon, and today we are about to hop straight in, learn everything that this format has to offer, and maybe open some amazing cards. Now, before we hop into this draft, I wanted to say that this video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Go to TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you want to buy some booster boxes of Secrets of Strixhaven, make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Also, head on over to heavyplay.com for all your Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories needs. If you're in the market for top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, all that utilize their special magnetic technology so that all their products snap conveniently into place, go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon to get 10% off your first order. Alrighty. I feel like I've been trying to do a lot of dirtly stuff, but I've been losing to a lot of more proactive strategies. But you know what? We'll still take this one pick at a time. Joined Researchers, 2 mana for 2/2 first striker. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, then this becomes prepared. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. So this is a rare. It looks flashy. It's just all right. It's a 2 mana 2/2 first striker is what this is. Ennis, Debate Moderator. This one's a little bit mediocre, I think, unless you have a lot of come into play effects. It's basically like a 2 mana 2/2 with a flicker effect attached to it, which is fine. Wander Off is a fine removal spell along with Essence Scatter. Studious First Year is one of Green's best commons. But for me, I am probably going to take the Impractical Joke. Old Growth Educator is also fine. 4 mana for a 4/4 Vigilance Reach with Infusion. When you gain life, it gets 2+1/+1 counters. Not super trivial to be able to gain that life immediately. Impractical Joke is super cheap, super efficient, super strong. All right, moving on to pack 1, pick 2. So for example, I might be looking to do some red-white stuff, but we'll see. Rare is missing. There's a Quillblade Laureate, 2 mana for a 1/1 double striker, and then it's got twofold. It's got the prepare effect is target creature gets +1/+1 double strike until end of turn. Encouraging Aviator is a 3 mana 2/3 flyer that jumps something. Flow State is interesting, and Living History is also pretty decent. So, do I want a Flow State or Living History? You know, today I am feeling aggressive. I'm gonna Living History here over the Flow State. Noting that this is a format with only 5 schools, so you really can only commit to 2 different color pair. If I take red cards, I can basically commit myself to red-blue or red-white. Red-black and red-green aren't really a thing. All right, pack 1, pick 3. We have Royal Treatment, which is a really good combat trick. Stirring Honormancer, which is a creature I really like. But a card that has been pretty impressive to me in these red decks that also kind of helps turn on everything that the deck's trying to do is the Rubble Rouser. So I might just take this, keep taking all these red cards. Of course, I want to pair the red with the white here if possible. Outside of that, I mean, there's the Stirring Honormancer, which would be a pivot and would allow me to, I would have to abandon both of these picks here. And then Run Behind is a fine combat trick / removal effect. And I'm not a big fan of the Mana Worm, so yeah, let's take the Rubble Rouser here and see if we can put together a nice little red-white strategy. And if it's not, then maybe we can go red-blue. All right, pack 1, pick 4, Harsh Annotation. This is a type of removal that I don't like. I don't like a removal spell that gives my opponent something. And this gives my opponent a 1/1 flyer, which is just a real threat. So I don't think I love this. Orisa is interesting, and Burog Barrage is also fine. But I think I'm just going to take the Stone Docent and just leave. Is it Docent or Docent? But just lean into just in a more aggressive red-white deck, especially with Living History. But the Rubble Rouser is still really nice as a way to kind of turn on all the exile things. Also, the Docent itself helps you exile things out of your graveyard. So let's try a more proactive strategy. I've been doing a lot of dirtling. I've been doing a lot of just multicolor decks, blue-red control decks, and with okay success. Maelstrom Artisan, 3 mana for 3/2 haste, and then it can destroy non-basic lands. Nah. I would be more interested in this if this was 2 in a red. 1 red is just really, really tough, and Tome Blast is fantastic. Also, the flashback works with these exile effects, right? Like Living History. So I think Tome Blast is just a fantastic common across the board. Noxious Newt, also a really, really good common. The green decks are very, very mana hungry. All right, well, I will say this. I mean, I'm not seeing a whole lot of the white, but certainly seeing a fair number of the red cards. And then we have this pack, which is kind of rough because I have all of these red cards. There's a deduce. There's no white cards. So I might have to shift gears into like a blue-red deck. And if I want to go into a blue-red deck, I think I'll just take Deduce, just a fine card draw spell. Paradox Surveyor is the more powerful card, but it's a lot harder to pivot into. So let's just take the Deduce, which I think would be a decent way for us to shift gears if red-white isn't open and move into, for example, a blue-red deck here instead. That's a studious first year. I don't know. I mean, it's just, can I go green-red? Is that even a thing? I don't love Muse's Encouragement. I mean, it's the best common by a decent amount. I guess I'll just take it, but this would be a really, really tough pivot from where we are. But like I said, I mean, the white cards just aren't flowing. There might be a bunch of black-white aggro drafters, so I feel like I need to make this shift. Here we can take Landscape Painter or Spectacle Summit. I think if I'm going to take Spectacle Summit over the Painter. This just gives me a little more flexibility here. So yeah, I wanted to do the aggro stuff here, but we just took a bunch of the red cards, and I only saw the Docent here. So I think we should pivot into perhaps a blue-red deck here. So Visionary's Dance is fine. Joined Researchers I don't love. Yeah, I guess we'll take this. This pack is weird. It's got a bunch of good playables. And the reason why I went with this, of course, the 2-mana 2/2 First Striker is fine, but I just feel like I haven't seen enough white cards for me to justify going down that route. I feel like the actual color combination that we need to be is like blue-green, but it feels like it's going to be a little bit too difficult to pull that off from where we are right now. But, I mean, we're seeing some green cards here. I guess I'll take Royal Treatment. Yeah, I mean, this is tough. There's a Planar Engineering. Okay. Is this card good? Search Library. I mean, if you're doing the Converge thing, it can be good. Glorious Decay. You know, actually, destroying target artifacts is pretty relevant. There's a number of decent artifacts in this format that you might be interested in killing. And exiling a card from a graveyard and drawing a card is not bad either in this format. What a weird draft. We're gonna have to tread very carefully here. All right. I know we're gonna probably be into Teamer colors, though. So here we have a lot of good options. Cuboid Colony. This card's fantastic. 2 mana for a 1/1 flying trample increment. Mind into Matter. Draw X cards, then put a permanent permanent card with mana value X or less from my hand onto the battlefield. Or Stress Dream. This might be one of the best uncommons in the format. This card's just excellent. 5 mana, deal 5 damage to something, and draw a card. I think I'm just going to take this card. It's just far too efficient. And I think it's more likely that we're going to be blue-red than blue-green. And there's just a lot of ways to just naturally draw cards. There's not as many ways to like have an effect like the Stress Stream, which just allows you to kill something and still get ahead on cards. So that's the direction that I'm going to head. Moving on here to pack 2, pick 2, Divergent Equation. This is a fun one to have as a one of. I'm going to take it. Rubble Rouser is also fine, I think, in the blue-red decks. But I think it's important to actually... I think this is like a legitimate win condition. And I think it's important in these blue-red spells decks to pick up the first copy of this card. Now, I think it's probably undervalued, but I'm going to be pretty sad if I don't get the first copy of it. So let's take it here. And then... Just to guarantee that we have an effect like this. Moment of Reckoning, this card's amazing. But of course, we just... You know... one time, like, we were like, what, green-black and splashed it? We're just not in any position to be able to take this. We're going to take Impractical Joke, just find a bunch of cheap ways to survive in the early game, and then win with our, late game cards like Visionary's Dance and Divergent Equation. So let's take the removal spell here. Move on. Moving on to pack 2, pick 4. There is Knockout Maneuver, which doesn't seem very good here. Brush Off, Blazing Fire Singer, and Hydro Channeler. I'm going to actually try taking this Counterspell. This is a card that I would normally think is quite bad, but I just think this format plays out a lot differently. And when you play against a lot of these other control decks, I think just having hard counters is quite good. And oftentimes, like, you will pay 2 mana. This will actually just be 1 in a blue counter target spell. Here we'll take Burst Lightning, another great cheap removal spell. I like that more than Essence Scatter. And yeah, I mean, we are lining up to be a very, very good blue-red spells deck. One card, by the way, I don't like is Abstract Paint Mage. 3 mana for a 2/2. The problem is, in a world where Tome Blast is a common removal effect, you really want to shy away from playing a bunch of 2 toughness creatures that don't do anything when they enter the battlefield, and that's exactly what the Abstract Paint Mage is. It allows your opponents to trade up on mana. I'm going to just take Tome Blast here. Repel Calamity is a good removal spell too, but I don't necessarily need to splash that here. All right, pack 2, pick 7. We have, ooh, now all the Boros cards are showing up. I like the Deuce. Look at this. Cheap, efficient removal, cheap card draw. This is almost looking like a constructed deck, right? Look at this. Burst Lightning, double Impractical Joke, double Deduce, double Tome Blast, Counterspell, way to kill big things, and then like a random, generic, expensive way to win the game. I mean, this is how you do it, folks. All right, pack 2, pick 8, however, has nothing for us. I guess there's something like Spell Pierce is not playable, but if I wanted to, let's say, splash a white win condition, I suppose Colossus of the Blood Age is better than Startled Relic Sloth. I don't think I'm going to take splash this, but it's an option here. These are the cards on the right. Like, Living History is not really what this deck's trying to do, so I probably won't play it. But these are all like, if I need playables, I'll put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, because we are definitely short playables, but that's because we're kind of going back and forth between a lot of different colors here to try to figure out a place to land. Well, now the Spirit Mascot tables, and this is the pack that had a bunch of Izzet cards, and it's very disappointing because we don't have any of them. So now I don't know what to do. Certainly splashing Cuboid Colony makes no sense. I guess if I splashed something, it would be harsh annotation, but I would rather not. Yeah, when I once again I misread this card. When I read this card, I thought it was yeah, a bunch of Boros cards now. I thought it was the cost reduction would make it cost blue. The fact that it costs 1 in a blue is a very, very big difference. All right, this card, is it playable in blue-red? I have the Rubble Rouser. I do have a couple of Tome Blasts. There's a couple of Colossi here that I can potentially splash. Hydro Channeler I'll play because I have no 2-drops. And I have a bunch of spells. And yeah. So I guess like people started with Boros, or we were unlucky and didn't see any Boros cards pack 1 because it feels like everybody is firmly off of Boros now. But now it's just too late to go back. So sometimes this will happen in draft, where like everybody starts with a certain thing, but if everybody moves off of it at the same time, then all of a sudden everybody train wrecks each other, right? Because like when pack 1, all I saw was a Stone Docent, and maybe we tabled a 2-mana 2/2 first record. That's it. Daze is cute. It's fine. It's not better than Stress Stream in Limited Magic. Stress Stream is fantastic. We definitely have lots of removal and fair number of card draw, and I'm really glad that I took that Divergent Equation because what the Visionary's Dance didn't table. But I do need to make sure that I can find enough ways to close out the game here. Pack 3, pick 2. There is another Rubble Rouser and a Campus Composer. Ooh, Practice Scrollsmith is nice. So is Pestbrood Sloth. I guess I'll just take the... I don't actually think this card is great, but it's a creature that helps me win the game. I'll take it. It makes a random flyer. It's hard to kill. But just 4 mana for a 3/4, Ward 2 is just not like a great body. All right, pack 3, pick 3. Easiest Sanar of my life. Oh my gosh, Armageddon. Come on. Whoever decided Armageddon, like, what a troll. What a troll. Can you imagine getting Armageddon Limited? Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't even know. I don't even think the card's good necessarily, but it's just hilarious that it's there. All right, pack 3, pick 4. We have Landscape Painter versus Banishing Betrayal. That's a very late Environmental Scientist. Like I said, blue-green might be where we need it to be, but here we are. I'm just going to take the 2-mana creature here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Oh, Mathematics. Okay, so this is actually a legitimate win condition. And remember the deck? I had a deck that had like a million Tome Blasts. Like, we have 2 Tome Blasts, a Burst Lightning, and 2 Impractical Jokes. That's fine. Last Gasp is also a really good removal spell. But Mathemagics, not only is it a way for me to draw a bunch of cards early, but and I can also search for it with Sanar, which is cool. Then I can get it back with Divergent Equation, and literally you can just deck your opponent. You just go like, if you do this for 12 mana, or even if you do this for 10 mana, you mill them for 16. That is really great. So I'm actually surprised that Mathemagics got to us that late. All right, pack 3, pick 6. What do you do? Cast an instant sorcery without paying its mana cost. It costs 7 though. I mean, I'm gonna take it. Like whatever. Oh, another Sanar. Okay, you know what? Blue-red was also open. Okay, so you know, like basically the teamer, like blue-red and blue-green were both kind of where we needed to be. The person passing to us is almost certainly in black-white. So, you know, I think we were in a fine seat. Proctor's Gaze is fine. Tone Blast is also great, but I think Sanar is wonderful. It even helps us splash if we needed to splash, because we have a trillion Colossus of the Blood Ages. I'm just going to take a lore caster here, though. Hopefully we don't have to play any of these, but we're going to have to. We got 20 cards here, unless we somehow table a bunch of stuff. Snarl Song is actually not bad. I don't think I'm going to splash it, though. I guess I'll take Spellbook Seeker, but I don't think this card's very good. Like, I would actively avoid playing this card for the most part. Yeah, nobody's in Boros. I'll take Return the Favor. I can copy spells. I don't think this card is good. Like, I think this is a reprint, and I don't remember it being particularly good the first time around. All right, so yeah, we're a little bit short here, unless we like miraculously table some of those Tone Blasts. I don't think that's going to happen. And yeah, Barrage with 2 cards left. That's of course ridiculous. But I mean, getting a Sanar that late also is an indication that certainly blue-red was also something that we could do. So, all right, well, we picked up the red-white land, so it's not crazy to look at the Colossi as ways to win the game, right? If I feel like my mana is good enough. And the Sanars also help. So I don't think I'm going to splash Pursue the Past. All right, something like this. I mean, Colossus is very good, and it is super splashable. Let's figure out what we want to cut. Yeah, like I said, Living History, not really great here. These are... I do have a lot of expensive cards. 3, 4... I have 7 expensive cards, so... probably not going to play all of them. Yeah, I do need to cut some of these expensive cards. I actually think this card isn't very good. So, the thing is, it's good with Stress Streams, but, like, it's not that great with, like, all these cheap spells. Mathemagics is an X spell. Divergent Equation is also an X spell. So I have exactly 3 spells where the Zafai and the Tempest is really good. Also keep in mind, this says, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand. And I don't think these prepare spells are cards that I'm casting from my hand, right? Like, I think these are, like, exiled, so I think that's one of the expensive cards I can probably cut. I think I can probably cut the Garrison Excavator, as I only really had, like, 2 Tone Blasts and a Rubble Rouser, and I guess, like, the Divergent Equation. I have some, but it's just not enough, so these probably have, like, a little more utility, and I can play, like, one of them. Visionary Dance is, like, a 2-mana card. Just treat it like a 2-mana card, so I feel better about my mana situation. And I think I'm going to play the Tackle Artist over the Spellbook Seeker, just because this one actually grows, and why don't we go ahead and also play the Zealous Lorecaster. So, yeah, our mana curve is definitely on the high side. Let's take a look at our colors. So, it looks like we want, like, equal parts red and blue. So, 8 of each would be nice, and we do have 8 of each, right? 8 red, 8 blue, and 3 white. And we have 2 copies of Sanar, so I could even go, like, a little bit heavier in one color and play, like, 2 white sources, because Colossus is a really expensive card. I don't think it actually requires this many whites, because I have the Sanars as well. Do I have any other way to fix my mana? I don't think so. Yeah, let's just go 883. It's fine. I don't really have any like double casting costs other than cards like Mathemagics, but that's like a 6 mana spell. By then you should get to the double blue. All right, now before round 1 starts, I did want to say that if you've been enjoying this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Access to the Patreon gives you access to my Discord channel, which I believe is a really great way to join a wonderful group of folks also looking to up their limited game. I post monthly videos for the Patreon along with monthly streams. If you want to take your game to the next level and join a wonderful group of folks, check it out. All right, well, we drew Island and Mountain. Always, always great. You always have that fear of drawing the planes. You know me, I'm always conservative with my mana fixing. All right, we even have like the good cheap removal, which is nice. All right, what do I want to do here? Do I want to play the Painter or Deduce? I'm just going to play Deduce. Smooth out my draws. And, you know, if they pass with 2 red sources up, they could easily have some kind of removal effect. That is a Rubble Rouser. Very, very good creature. Or an overperformer for sure. Alright, playing against red-white. They discarded Molten Note. Wow. Okay. Alright, we drew the white source. Alright, we found all the lands. I guess we can get a creature on the battlefield now. We can kick Burst Lightning to kill the Rubble Rouser. Obviously, if they kill my Landscape Painter, it's not a big deal. It only costs 2 mana to play, so if it trades with a removal spell and I don't get to cast Vibrant Idea, that is completely fine. Yeah, but this card is just rock solid. Like, 6 mana Siege Rhino. It does a lot. Alright, Garrison Excavator. That needs to die. Although, I will say there's nothing in their graveyard currently. But I don't think that's a good enough reason not to just kill. Oh, God, it feels so bad. But I think I'm going to double Impractical Joke the Garrison Excavator. Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do, right? We have card draw. This is the thing that can really get out of hand. Rubble Rouser, like... Rubble Rouser I can deal with on the following turn. Oh my gosh. Okay, well... I mean... A 5 mana 5/5 Flying Haste Dragon. That's gonna be hard to deal with. Right? That's gonna be hard to deal with, folks. Well, silly me for using my removal on a Garrison Excavator. It gave them the mana to play this. Alright, well... Guess we attack. Play a land and pass. I mean, I think the only thing... Or otherwise I'm just gonna die. Like, I need to... I need to get back my Impractical Jokes. Or if I drew the 5 damage spell, that would have been really good too. Each instant and sorcery in your hand has Miracle 2, okay. I don't love it, you know, but it's like I said, you gotta do what you gotta do. If they save this... Alright, dude. This is not even a playable Magic card! Deflecting Palm? Doesn't it just redirect damage to the face? Hold on, let me look this card up. If it redirects the creatures, it's fine. Hold on. Yeah, this card's... That is a wildly unplayable card. I mean, it's... Okay, it's playable. It's not a good card. But you know what? We lost to the dragon. All good. It's all fair. Our opponent played a bunch of large behind-handed creatures that I couldn't kill, and then played a giant dragon and then protected it. Yeah, you know, you lose. You know, look. There are a bunch of really strong rares in this format, like there tends to be in almost any limited environment these days. And I will say, I mean, it's got some Last Airbender vibes. But so far, I'm still having fun, so. Tome Blasting the Noxious Newt, playing against a Golgari Gamer. Hopefully we can find some lands here off the top. We got a deduce to try to find some lands and help smooth out our draws. Wild Growth Archaic. Okay, well, I'm gonna Tome Blast this. Wait, hold on. Does it have every creature these days have like some weird ward attached to it? Alright. It didn't, so we got to Tome Blast. That is, I mean, this is a great start for our Tome Blasts. Leech Collector, yeah, my opponent's deck is very, very weak to Tome Blast. 3 cards. Which one of these do I want? I guess this has more upside. Right? Because, like, I can play a spell next turn. Especially if I draw a land to play Tome Blast, then this thing becomes huge, so... You know, if my opponent wants to use a removal spell on the Tackle Artist, that's totally fine. It's not like we're taking a ton of damage anyways. Now, a 4/6, that is gonna be a tough one to kill. But I do have this, so I kill this. This gets 2 counters. And I guess we just attack. Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna get into like a racing situation, I already have a 6/5 Trampler, and then if I draw a land, I can just start slamming Colossus of the Blood Age. That's good. All right, so they're gonna play the Rabid Bite spell here. Burrog Barrage. Tackle Artist will die. Okay. And I will take 7, so it's very good. Now I would just love to draw a land here. Did not find a land. I'm gonna play Deduce. I don't need the white mana, so let's play Deduce. I don't think playing a Campus Composer does that much, although I guess now I can play it out. Yeah, I guess I can play it out now. If I drew a land, then I can play this out, because now, like, I'm not digging for land number 6 for Colossus of the Blood Age. This is another type of creature that would potentially warrant a removal effect, so if they have one, sure. Hey, but this is all great, because it's like, I'm getting my opponent to fire off a bunch of removal, and then Colossus lives. Right? Siege Rhino. Okay, Siege Rhino costs 4 mana, but still. Anything that's like a Siege Rhino that you can get, and also when this dies, like, it draws you a card. It's pretty good. It discard any number of cards and draw the... What if you discard 0 cards? Discard any number of cards and draw that many cards plus 1. Okay, yeah, it literally just replaces itself. Yeah, that's incredible. Alright, well. I'm glad I splashed it. Colossus of the Blood Age is a nice one. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. Colossus doing some serious work there. 1-1. I'm still reeling over that Deflecting Palm. Like, if it was just like a +2/+2 pump spell, I'm like, fair game. Like, that's fine. I haven't been Deflecting Palm since... Was it played in like old Boros Burn in the sideboard? In Modern? I think so. That's the last time I've been Deflecting Palmed. Alright, on the play here, 2-lander, we're gonna keep. We have a Sanar, which can hopefully find us some lands. I mean, if I just find land number 3, the Rubble Rouser will let us rummage as well. My opponent's playing a Silver Quill deck, which meaning I can Burst Lightning and make a treasure at least. Yeah, I'll do that. Here's my question, though. Do I play Hydro Channeler? Or do I save the treasure to play Rubble Rouser? Because the Hydro Channeler doesn't actually help me cast my creatures. I'm gonna save the treasure. I think it's more important to, like, get this online, if possible. I mean, if they have the removal spell, they should kill the Sanar now. I'm still gonna play the Rubble Rouser. Oh, sure. Alright, well, I'm glad I saved it for the Rubble Rouser. I actually don't even know how good the Hydro Channeler is. What do I want to discard here? Probably one of my 2-drops. I'm just not sure which one. Yeah, let's just pitch this. All right, we found a land. That's good. Wander off. Okay. Drew another land. Wonderful. I can draw 2 cards. Is that crazy? I don't think it's crazy. X is equal to 1. Because I have ways to get it back, too. And then I not only that, it's draw 2 cards and make a treasure. Like, that's good on an empty board against this type of deck. Stirring Honormancer is nice. I'm going to probably kill that with a Stress Dream here. Do it before they have a Deflecting Palm. Which one of these do I want? Do I just want land, or do I want Visionary's Dance? Let's go Visionary's Dance. Sanar doing lots and lots of work here. I mean, like, I'm at 5 lands already, right? So I just feel like if I put myself in a situation where, like, if I just draw a land that's really good, that's not a bad place to be, right? Oh my gosh. So they played 2 really good cards here. I think the Hope Singer's better, so let's kill that. Let's activate. And then, what do I play? I have 6 mana. I can just play this. Hold on. Or I can just kill this too. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, when this deals damage, they draw a card. Like, basically, I can get another Impractical Joke. Just to keep my opponent's board clear. Or I just play this, and then if they kill it, then they draw a card. Then I draw a card. Yeah, let's just kill the Snooping Page. It felt like the safer line just because it prevents my opponent from, like, snowballing. Okay, another rare of some kind. Woohoo. Ugh, that's silly. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Let's play a Zealous Lorecaster. And let's get... oof, lots of good cards. Let's get Stress Dream, because I might need to deal more than 3 damage. So now if they, like, target something, it's going to be very, very bad for us. Yep. Ah, man. I mean, I tried. I tried to deal with all these annoying creatures, but they just got everything back, so here we are. Yeah, that's rough. I don't even know which one I want to kill. What does this do? Indestructible, okay. Do I want land or Sanar? I'll just take Sanar. Okay. These are ginormous. Do I want to make a treasure or just chump block with this thing? I'm just gonna chump block with it. Yeah, I mean, they are definitely fighting the good fight here, I will say. Lots of good Orzhov cards and tricks and shenanigans. Sheesh. Okay. Um, 21 cards. I have access to 7 mana. This thing flies. I'm basically just hoping they don't have something here, and I can just play like Colossus. I can also play Visionary Dance. Maybe that's better. Yeah, because it blocks the flyer too, right? The problem is I'm probably just going to die to the snooping page. Like, I had a removal for the snooping page and the 1/3 flyer, and then they got them both back. And it's like, okay, there's only so much removal I can fire off, right? Oh no, was that a better line? No, no, never mind. That's a 4/5. I thought the snooping page was still a 2/3 because there's a world where I like divergent equation back 2 of my impractical jokes or whatever. Yeah, this is still very bad for me. They should attack with the Soaring Stone Glider too, I think. Maybe not. I have to block there. And this is also, by the way, why like the aggressive decks are doing really well right now. There's value everywhere, even in the aggressive cards, right? Where like I'm like spending a turn to do this, and they just have a board of things, you know? All right, well, we're just gonna play this and hope they don't have anything. I mean, this is an excellent deck. I go to 1. You draw a card. They have another creature? Come on. Not cool. Okay, so what's the best bet? I'm just going to kill both of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 of them, right? Yeah. Just double checking. Let's look at our graveyard. Yep. Let's get 2 of these back. Kill you. Kill you. And we cross our fingers at 1 life. They're going to surveil here. I mean, we're close, right? So, like, if they kill this, obviously, we just lose. But if not, I mean, we're close. Is there a Mathemagics in my graveyard? There is. I don't have... Oh, no, I do... No, I don't have a way to recur it. Okay. Can we turn the corner here? It is possible. It is certainly possible. I definitely need to play some creatures. I have 7 mana. Okay, let's draw a card. If I draw a land, that would be ideal. I didn't. Okay, let's just play 2 things. I need to find a way to gain life. Because this Surveil land's going to find them what they need, for the most part. They kept on top. I have a Tome Blast. I'm just thinking about things I can get. I do have the 5 mana, another copy of the Stress Dream. Oh. Okay, sure. Well, I mean, we almost came back. They had a great deck. It happens. GG's. Alright, on the play here. Yep, gonna keep this. 3 lands, Sanar, Landscape Painter, and Mathemagics. Don't have the second blue source, but we should easily be able to find it here. Very likely for us to fire off the 2 mana effect on Visionary's Dance to help us just kind of continue hitting our land drops, especially with a card like Mathemagics in our hand. All right, our opponent on some kind of Boros deck. We're going to play turn 2 Sanar. And next turn could be really good. If they just play like a random dork, we drew Impractical Joke, we can kill the dork. We did not. What do I want to do? Yeah, we're just going to pass. We can play Deduce and draw and make a treasure. Did they have a way to kill? Oh, they could have the 4 damage spell for 3 mana. Repel Calamity. Okay, so let's Deduce. Make a treasure. And yep. I don't want to use the treasure. If I don't draw a land, okay, I drew the land. I was going to just discard this to, you know, get something in play, but I think we can just go Landscape Painter here. Play the land and then pass. Is this a clue? Yeah, and then we can crack the clue as well. All right, Startled Relic Slough. Why is I can't kill anything. You should be exiling spells. I don't have ways to get creatures back in general. Okay. All right, well, I certainly don't want to miss land drops. So I'm going to cycle the Visionary's Dance to try to find lands. Sorry, Colossus. We will use Impractical Joke and Tome Blast to kill the Sloth. Attack. Yeah, I mean, especially with Mathemagics in my deck, it's just crucial to just make sure that... Bye-bye, Tome Blast. Make sure that you can keep hitting your land drops. Burst Lightning, 3 cards. Now, can't Deflecting Palm that with 1 red. Although, can you imagine if they Monstrous Raged it to save it? That would have been sad. All right, just run out of threats. Okay, seize the spoils, sure. What do I do next turn? If I draw a land, I can probably just cast a Zealous Forecaster for Visionary's Dance. If they have a removal spell, they might want to just kill the Painter because I have all this mana. Alternatively, I can just draw like 4 cards or whatever. All right, seize the spoils. Double seize the spoils in your red-white deck. You know, to be fair, red-white is like more mid-rangey now, so that's not too crazy. All right, let's just Vibrant Ideas. Yeah. Our opponent is not going to beat us in the card advantage game. That much I know. Like, if they play another thing, Stress Stream, find a land. Again, land, Greater Sign, everything. Especially with Mathemagics in my hand. Ooh, Practice Scrollsmith for Seize the Spoils, I guess. Okay, that one, obviously, I can just take out with Impractical Joke, so I might just do that. Okay. Let's see. I can draw 4 cards. I think I'm going to do that. Because I have, not only do I have the Lorecaster to get it back, I just have like other ways to get it back, so 6/6 is not easy to deal with. That is unfortunate. 6/6 is not easy to deal with. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 3 cards in hand for the opponent. I could double block. For 16, that requires 10 mana? That is 10 mana. But I can't kill them with it yet. I'll take 6 for now. Startle the Relic Sloth, okay? Alright, they got 2 cards in hand. Let's go Tackle Artist. I'm just gonna kill this now. They have a bunch of these. I don't need land. I have 2 lands in my hand, so I don't need more. And I'm not planning on killing them with damage, so we'll chill out here. Okay. Hey, if they draw a million cards, that's obviously good for me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 10 mana, so I can make my opponent draw 16 cards. So unless there's a red-white counterspell, I can just Mathemagics my opponent for 4. 2 to the 4th is 16. And make them draw 16 cards. They have 14 cards left. Telling you, win condition. Not just a card draw engine, also a win condition. Their deck looks sweet. Lots of good Boros. By the way, this format is entirely defined by the uncommons and rares. Like, I was looking at win rates of commons. They're embarrassing. And there's just almost all of the power. And there's tons of good, like, signpost uncommons and stuff. Almost all the power comes there. So if the more commons you have, in this format specifically, the sadder you should be. Yes, I am sure. You may draw all the cards. Boom. Hadouken. All right, Mathemagics victory. Let's go. Yeah, like even when you play in some Boros decks, they're not fast. Like the only, like I said, Boros decks like sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're not. The only like true pseudo aggro deck is the Silver Quill deck, right? The black-white deck. Because, they have a good curve. As long as you can find enough ways to just play a bunch of spells. The deck functions quite well. Alright, on the play, blue, blue, white. I'm gonna keep this because I'm on the play. I need a red source. Now, I can cast the Mathemagics if I'm desperate for one card. Oh, I drew Deduce? That's great. Okay, so... Well... That should... Like, I would 100% keep this if I had a Deduce, right? So, this should be fine. Alright, we're playing against Sultai Randomness. Let's cast Deduce. What am I discarding? Well, I don't have any red mana, so it might be the Rebel Rouser, but I think the ramp from the Rebel Rouser is pretty good. Colossus isn't bad either. Just gonna pitch the Burst Lightning. I'm going to crack this because I have tap lands in my deck. Alright. I'm thinking long term, so I just don't think this type of deck that I'm playing against is going to be aggressive enough where like I'm absolutely going to need the efficiency of the Burst Lightning. So that's why I'm choosing to keep the more robust, powerful, large cards. You know what I mean? Play Sanar and Deduce. So that lets us play a blocker and also be able to continue like looking at more cards. Rebel Rouser, of course, the other option there. And this is, certainly a good enough card where my opponent might feel pressure to kill it, which I'm okay with. Like there's not an overwhelming amount of pressure here. They're playing like Sultai Value. They probably have like 2 card draw spells in their hand. And we're going to have to just grind through all of that. So it's more like trying to survive. They're going to draw their cards. Both sides are going to just, spin their wheels. And I'm just going to try to get them with the Mathemagics. That's at least my hope. Grapple with Death. Sure. It's the Deuce. Okay, no land is a little bit sad. Do I play the Rebel Rouser? Or do I crack the Clue? I'm gonna crack the Clue. Come on, give me a land. Disappointment. Disappointment on the stack. We'll play this next turn. Yeah. Missing the land drop there sucks. Gonna keep our life total high. There's just no world where I need to, like... I'm gonna cast Vibrant Idea or whatever. They played a 5-mana 4/5. And I still don't have anything to do here. Let's go Rebel Rouser, I guess. Well, this is not going to be relevant anytime soon. Okay, good. Then we get Hydro Channeler online. All right, hey. I mean, obviously this hits for a lot, but I have some defenses set up here. I have the ability to cast a Colossus of the Blood Age, which will help me stabilize, and we're getting closer and closer to being able to try and Mathemagics my opponent out. Also, I have the ability to just cast Stress Stream to finish off the 10-year concoctor. Yeah, maybe I wanted the counterspell? I don't know, what should I have discarded? I like all these cards. This one is like, I know I discarded one of the efficient spells before, but I think it could be important to try to set up like a double spell situation. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll take 6, I guess. Did they really attack to get 2 more points of damage in? Maybe. Oh. Oh, sure. Sure. Alright, so they're gonna be able to draw a card, but I think that's fine. Let's kill the concoctor. Let's try to find a red source here, untapped. Okay. I know Divergent whatever is pretty good, but... gotta keep the board clear! They're actually like, yeah, more creature heavy than I would have expected. Terra Fractal, 5/4. Sheesh! Not a flyer, that's lame. I mean, I can still kill it with like Tone Blast Flashback. But that's going to take my entire turn. Oh my gosh. Applied Geometry, a 6/6 flyer? Alright. Alright. I mean, that's good. Not much I can do. Do I have a bounce spell? I don't think I have a bounce spell. Yeah, I mean, that's the issue. Like, I don't have ways to kill big things, right? So, it is what it is. If they protect this, they protect this, you know. Nope. And we're not gonna, yeah. I mean, we like I said, I mean, we had a lot of good like cheap removal, but large things. I mean, that's what the Stress Stream is for. But a 6/6 specifically, that's always been something that's tough for a blue-red deck. I think the card that would be nice is the 5-mana 6 damage spell, but I don't remember seeing too many opportunities at taking that card. So I'm gonna have to cast this for like 2 or cast it for a 1 and hope that I have something in my deck. I'm digging for like an imaginary out. Alright. All good. Look. Like these, sometimes they just don't play out the way that you would like. I thought my deck was completely fine. You know, it just obviously like had some weaknesses. Like that's what happens when you draft like reactive control decks. But, you know, I think there's definitely a world where like this deck does way, way better, right? It's just, you know, we had what? 3, 4, 5, 7 removal spells. We had a counter spell. We had some good late game stuff, right? We had a couple of Sanars. You know, we had some amount of filler, but it's just, we just couldn't deal with absolutely everything. I think the one thing that really was missing was like a bounce effect. So the 4-mana bounce spell would have been a really nice card to have in this deck. But like I said, I mean, I was totally fine with this deck. Like if I could replace Tackle Artist and Campus Composer with like some bounce spells, I probably would have been happier. And perhaps there was an opportunity for me to maybe take more white removal on the splash. I don't know. I was just like not really looking at the white cards until I picked up the 2 Colossi late. So maybe there was something else I could do there. Clearly, like our seat was like blue-red or blue-green. I think those were the 2 colors that were very, very open. If we were stubborn and stayed Boros, then maybe we could have ended up with a good deck. And, you know, since, you know, I'm going to post this, and since this run ended up quick, let's do a quick draft review. All right, going to look at the other monitor here and take a look here. We started off with an Impractical Joke, which I think is totally fine, defensible pick. There was a heated argument here. I don't think it tabled, though. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a totally fine pick in this pack. Moving on, this is where I could have done a couple of things. I think I could have either taken the Living History, or I could have taken perhaps the Flow State put myself into like a blue-red spells deck. I don't think this card tabled either, so there was definitely another blue-red drafter. Snooping Page is also a powerful creature, but of course, after first picking an Impractical Joke, you want to give yourself the best chance of like being able to play that spell. So when it's close, I think you should just go with either the Boros card here in Living History or the Flow State. Again, could go either direction there. Moving on to pack 1, pick 3. Had I randomly just took the Snooping Page, then I could have taken the Stirring Honormancer. But I do think the Rubble Rouser is a powerful card. It's probably undervalued right now, but the card looks pretty solid. Just like, it's not hard to put spell cards into your graveyard. So this being a 3-mana creature, while also helping trigger your exile stuff after taking the Living History, certainly makes a little bit of sense. Now, if you're asking me what the best card in the pack was, probably it's the Stirring Honormancer. Had I taken the Flow State, though, I would probably have taken the Run Behind, which was something that we were missing in our deck. Moving on to pack 1, pick 4. Here, nothing too crazy in this pack anyways. There's like an Orisa and a Stone Docent. Given my start, I took the Stone Docent, but you could make the case that maybe I should take like an Orisa or something just because maybe it's a little bit more powerful. But I just think she's a little clunky anyways. All right, moving on here, there's a Tome Blast. I'm totally happy with the Tome Blast. Essence Scatter would have been a fine consideration, but given that I'm leaning more towards red-white, Tome Blast still makes sense. So I'm just going to be looking for big pivot points here. This is an interesting one because we took the Deduce as a potential pivot point into blue-red if red-white didn't work out. And I think this was a really... this pick in particular, I really like, just because it allowed us to kind of at least be able to play some of our red cards and switch over. Now, if you go for pure upside, I can see taking the Paradox Surveyor and just going, you know what? I'm going to throw my first 5 picks away and just take the blue-green card. But I think the Deuce is a powerful enough card where you can sacrifice a tiny bit of power to just give yourself a little more flexibility. So that's what we did there. Here, because there was nothing I really loved in the blue-red shell, I just took the Studious First Year because I thought it was enough better to speculate. Then I took a blue-red land, which I'm totally fine with, followed by a Visionary's Dance, which tabled. This could also have been a point where either I choose to double down on the Studious First Year. This would mean that I would give up on a lot of my red picks. I can still like splash the Impractical Joke and the Tome Blast, but I could have taken the Studious First Year. But I was like, you know what? Like, I got the Deduce. Like, Visionary's Dance also is a fine late game win condition, but I could see taking the Studious First Year. At this point, I'm pretty much off red-white. Joined Researchers is just a 2-mana 2/2 first striker, which isn't bad, but it's also not insane by any means. Noting that Essence Scatter and Heated Argument did not table here, so I didn't really keep track of that. Same thing here. Sleight of Hand and Flow State did not table, and the Encouraging Aviator, so 3 blue cards were taken. So just something to keep in mind. Like, maybe that is something that I should have thought about. And then we're seeing some green cards here. Like, a pack with 3 green cards certainly says something. Planar Engineering, I still don't know if that's a good card. But yeah, at this point, we're like kind of settled into a blue-red shell. Here, I took Stress Stream over Mind into Matter. I actually just think Stress Stream is generally better. So I'm fine with that pick. And then at some point, maybe there was like a way to pivot back into Boros, but I don't necessarily see it. Like here, I think Divergent Equation, I've been very impressed with this card. Certainly it was slow in some of the games that we played, but it's like your late game win condition. At the time, we didn't have a Mathemagics either. Obviously not going to take the Planeswalker. Quillblade Laureate is a consideration along with the Garrison Excavator if I wanted to move in that direction. Followed by another removal spell here in the Impractical Joke. Obviously, Moment of Reckoning is great, but if there was one color combination I was 100% positive we weren't supposed to be, it was black-white. And here, I think this might be the inflection point, possibly, okay? We took a Brush Off, which is a fine counterspell, but I could have just taken Practice Scrollsmith. Now, would I have ended up with enough playables? That's the question, right? Like 4, 5 cards I'm happy with. I could have been like red-white, splashing Stress Stream, you know what I mean? Like that, I had the blue-red land too. So let's keep track of that, okay? There's a Practice Scrollsmith that I could have taken. Here, I still would have taken the Burst Lightning, but noting that there are 2 red-white cards in the pack. Moving on to this pack, there was a Tome Blast. Now, if I'm just red-white, you could make the case that I should take Repel Calamity because this is a way to kill big things. Now, this is really, really nice because it's got the flashback, but given that I already had the double Impractical Joke and the Tome Blast, like this could be the point where you could make the case that I can take Repel Calamity and try to go back into red-white. I was I took the Tome Blast because it was safer and put me in blue-red, but I could also see taking Repel Calamity. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 7, right? Kirill. Could have taken the Kirill. So Pack 2 was great for Boros. Pursue the Past is also really good. I think I prefer the Kirill, but this is also just an excellent card in the red-white deck. So boom, I did take a Deduce. Not like I took a bad card. Moving on, Colossus of the Blood Age. I don't actually know what's better, Startled Relic Sloth or Colossus. This does work better with the Exile Graveyard stuff. So I would be leaning towards the Startled Relic Sloth here. So that's another card there. Then we take a Spirit Mascot. Yeah. This was a tricky draft. I thought, here's my thing. When I draft, I'm pretty decent about finding the lane to pivot into. One thing I'm not good at is, pivoting back, which, you don't do that often because, you rarely should pivot back in Pack 2, but man, was Boros open here. So I feel like had I gone into Boros in Pack 2, we would have been rewarded because in Pack 3, by that point, we got a last pick Spirit Mascot, right? By this point, everybody had already abandoned and a last pick Pursue the Past. This Boros deck actually would have been really, really nice, right? And then here, Pack 3, pick 1, maybe we take another Stress Stream to try to splash, right? Because there's nothing here in Boros. And then I think we could have just ended up with a rock solid Boros deck. Yeah. Practice Scrollsmith here. We just don't take the Sanar and take probably the red-white land, not Armageddon, but probably the red-white land, especially if I'm looking to splash the Stress Streams. And then we can take the Docent here into, I don't think I love Borrowed Knowledge, but we can take, Tome Blast or the red-white land. Absolutely. We're not taking Mathemagics, but probably taking Tome Blast, honestly. And then here we take just a Glyph Mage for the curve, which is fine. Another Sanar here. Another Tome Blast. Yeah. Or actually, we could take Living History. Yeah. So, again, it didn't feel like Boros was open, and then it was open. Here I could take Colossus. That would be my second Colossus of the Blood Age. Or I could take Hop to it if I needed something for my curve. And, yeah, the Swordsmith tabled. So, all right. Well, I'm glad I actually did this review. Because I feel I think we ended up with a totally fine deck, and Izzet was somewhat open from the right side. I think a lot of the people on my left ultimately ended up going into Izzet, but on the right, I think it was pretty open. We got a lot of those Sanars, but I do feel like we probably would have had a better, more proactive deck had we somehow found it in us to shift back over to Boros in Pack 2. That is tough to do. The old pivot back is tough to do. I think in this particular draft, it may have been correct, but it's tough. It's always tough. But you know what? Like I said, this is why you do draft reviews, right? This is why you can go back. If you don't do well, don't just blame it on bombs. Don't blame it on Mana Screw. There's just a lot of different reasons why you could have won. I needed a bounce spell. Maybe I could have taken that one earlier, right? Just go back. It's harder to do gameplay review, but draft reviews are certainly good. Look for people who are better than you. Send them your draft log. Ask them what they would have done differently. And not only do you get an extra perspective, but also you could probably identify a leak that you have in your game where maybe you're drafting this archetype too often, right? Or maybe you're clearly you're not as good at reading signs as you think you are, right? There's just always little things that you can do to improve. And if you want to take your limited game seriously, right? These are some things that you can consider. Now, if you want to just draft for fun, blast off, take the rare, lock in, do whatever. That's totally fine. There's a lot of different ways to enjoy this game. But of course, a lot of the people watching here, you're watching this channel because you want to improve at Limited Magic. And it's funny because I have this big spiel when I go 2 and 3, but bad records happen. Try to learn from them and you move on. All right. So let's do better in tomorrow's draft. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, as I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Also, check out TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you're in the market to buy some booster boxes of Secrets of Strixhaven, or you wanted some singles for your standard, modern, pioneer, or commander decks, check out TCGplayer.com and make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Last but not least, go to heavyplay.com for premium Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. If you're in the market for top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, life pads, all that utilize their special magnetic technology, make sure you go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon to get 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.